Hello, Black men in the DMV. If you are between the ages of 15 to 54, you can help improve healthcare services for Black men. The Strength and Stressor study at George Washington University looks at how stress from things like discrimination, unemployment, police harassment, housing instability, and coping strategies impact Black men's mental and physical health. Become a part of this study, and you'll be compensated between $200 to $250 for your time. For more information, text 202-596-2743, email strengthstudydc@gmail.com, or you can see if you're eligible by using the link in our bio/linktree.
What you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy, black boy.
Welcome. Hi, sister. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome back.
All right. I have a quick question, and this is very, very random. But my first question is, do you believe that when somebody is like homophobic, they are also like hate things that are all feminist or just like feminine? Like, I've just been feeling that like recently, like when people are just homophobic, I'm like, are you just not a fan of femininity in itself? Or what?
Well, I think I've said before that I believe that misogyny is at the root of homophobia. So, I mean, I guess the simple form of that answer is yes. Yeah, I'm just going to say yes. There are definitely caveats to that, but I don't think they're worth discussing.
Yeah, because I've literally been thinking about that, like, with people that are, like, homophobic. I'm always like, you're mad that somebody is just being feminine. Like, you're mad that they're walking in a feminine manner to their eyes, talking in a feminine manner to their eyes. It's just like, so do you just not rock with femininity? Or are you just not comfortable with understanding what femininity is? Because that's what it's giving to me. You're not comfortable with femininity or like what off any form of it, so you're going to like just be like anti it all. And I don't care what nobody say. To me, that's just like not cute. Like if any woman wants a guy that is like is okay with a guy being like homophobic, I'm like, you also know he doesn't really fuck with you some way. Like he just wants you to shut up and submit.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Like I think that like they like to see femininity in women because they think that women are less than them. Like that's really how that goes. So in their mind, it's not like I don't hate women. I just think that women are like less strong than men and like should be subservient to them. So seeing a man be what that person believes a woman should be is like, you know, the end all. Like that's it. It's catastrophic. It's an abomination.
Yeah. But hello, everyone. We are back in front of the camera, in front of the mics, in front of you all's lovely faces. What is up, everybody? It is your boy, lordevery.
And I'm derwinking.
And welcome back to That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where black boys can be themselves and
so much more.
You all, we have not actually shot a video, I think, since like June.
Yeah.
And it is August. Like it's been lifing. We've been lifing, and
we're also not the only ones to like be taking regular breaks right now. I don't know. I mean, like outside of what's personally happening in our lives, I can also say that like life is really wild right now. Like really wild.
We're in like a recession.
Yeah.
Like gas was like crazy at one point. Like it has just been like insane with also this monkeypox.
Yeah.
Is a thing as well. And we also are still dealing with COVID. So it is just like crazy what a time we're in for this summer. Like summer to me, it wasn't giving the summer that I thought it was going to be. But people was trying to make it, so.
Well, I don't know. It always seems to me that, like, ever since the pandemic started, it just has felt like the summer is one of the more, like, dangerous times for the spread of whatever virus is, like, around. Because we all want to, like, we want to be around each other and have a good time. So, I mean, I guess I just figured with the last spike of COVID that we were like at least going to be okay. But monkeypox, I remember when that first one, like that first case happened, like in Texas last year, and they were like, "Oh, y'all got to kill that motherfucker." And I was like, "Yikes!" You don't remember?
It was like, no, I wasn't really aware of where monkeypox started. I just silently started to hear about it.
I don't know.
I didn't know when the first case came.
It feels like people are like not getting information at the same time because like now they're talking about polio, right? As soon as something happens, like I'll see a news report about it and then I'll be like, it'll be in my brain. But then we won't be talking about it as a nation for like months. Like monkeypox has been on my radar for more than a month and a half now, for like a while now, actually.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to people about it even just last week, and they're like, "Wait, what is that?" And I was like, "What is happening?"
Because people also think that it is like a gay disease.
Yeah,
it's a disease. First of all, people, it's not like it's a disease. It's not like how COVID was. You know, like it was the media. We're gonna get into this during our rants, girl. So let's hold on. We're ready. But first, since we haven't talked to each other in so long, what has been going on with you? How's it been going? I seen Derwin a few weeks ago, came to DC to do one of his wonderful, not revival, right? It wasn't a revival. It was just like a return.
It was a revival,
what would you call it?
Yeah. It's like our second revival, actually. So third iteration of the show in the second revival.
Yes, okay, I did not know that. But Derwin came back to the DMV to do his revival of the amazing play that he was a part of. Tell us how that was. Tell the girls what you was doing.
Yes, When Boys Exhale. So the last time that I did that show was maybe like 3 months ago in Atlanta, and it was a successful run. And so the theater that we did it originally in DC asked us to come back. And I just want to say that like it was like of the 4 performances we had, I believe 3 of them were sold out. So that was delightful. And the ticket sales, people were still trying to buy tickets after the show was done. So I think the theater actually wanted us to come back and do it again. But I'm not sure that Anthony will be doing it in DC again. But yeah, so it is a show about 2 Black gay friends, and just like the tests and trials that their friendship has and their relationships with parental figures and loved ones. And it really is just like a love story between these 2 people who share a same type of trauma, but present it in a different way. And I think that like gay men who are friends with other gay men can relate to it, just because of the kind of conversations that they were having and the way they were talking to each other, but also the way that they were expressing love. They have a shared love for the movie Waiting to Exhale. And it is so interesting, I think, how often media is what unites us. Like, one thing I know is that, like, Omar and I, when it comes to damn reality TV, baby, like, it's like...
You girls are suckers for it.
But it's like, you know, there's this thing, and you have your shared language through this piece of media. And I think that's something that happens with gay Black men quite often. Maybe it's an escapism thing. I don't know. It probably is. But yeah, it was a great show, and I was really satisfied with how things went. And it is truly an honor to work with Caged Birds Productions again. So
yeah, what else have you been up to? First of all, I went to see the show, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed the production of it. Derwin was like absolutely like phenomenal. So just wanted to throw that little caveat in there. Actually seeing it, it was pretty dope and amazing. So just wanted to tell you, like, you were doing your shit. And it was just so amazing to see you doing something that you love. And I know you really love acting, and like everything I've seen you be a part of in regards to like the web series and then the actual horror film. And then this, like seeing you in 3 different like realms of acting was just like pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Like, seeing like the versatility.
Thank you.
Because I just thought about that. I've seen the web series.
Yeah.
You played a game. You played a straight man.
Yeah.
You know, the web series. You played this like, the horror film. You played this like Black man, but then he was like affluent. And then, you know, in this role, you were like the best friend, you know, to the like, you know, to the situation, like very much like that soundboard. So just like seeing you play these different roles, I was like, Shout out to you, sister.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Wow.
I revel in any opportunity to play a character that is different from any other one. I did get a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're very similar to this character," and I think just in the for like how my own
Femininity.
femininity informed this
Mm-hmm.
character. I think that was a very natural experience for me. But I will also say that I noticed marked differences between me and Andre because of how
Mm-hmm.
he saw the world and versus how I see it.
And so, out of the three characters that I've known you to play, which one have you like enjoyed playing the most?
Well, I will say I enjoyed both the web series character and the plays character because and for different reasons. I enjoyed playing Elon in the web series because it was like a stretch for me and it did challenge me to use my body and voice and like my place in the world differently. So I loved how much of a challenge that was. I loved playing Andre, however, because Andre like says whatever he thinks. He doesn't really hold back anything. And so it was a really cool opportunity for me to just kind of like spread out on stage. And I love any opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's dope. I think that I see that. But what else has been going on? You know, we haven't shot in a minute. So just wanted to see how life was lifing, you know,
Well,
all of that jazz.
I don't know. I just moved, so I'm getting settled into my new place. I'm sure the background looks different. This place is oh my God, I really love it here. I just went to get my wine for the day. I'm going to ask you what you're drinking too, by the way. I went to go get my wine, and the liquor store is on the other side of the street. So literally, it took me a total of probably 8 minutes to go in there, grab the wine, pay for it, and come back home. I was like,
Ooh.
yeah, I was shocked. But what are you drinking, my friend?
I have two things. So I am drinking on a little bit of Riesling.
Oh, nice.
So fun fact and fun little story. I'm supposed to be going dry this month. Do you want to know the first day of August? So I made the last month. I was like, I'm not going to drink this month. I'm not going to do it. Girl, tell me why the first day my boss bought me mimosa.
Oh.
And the mindset when everything went out the motherfucking window, drank it just naturally. You know, I love a good drink. So then I went to the bar to order food, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't order nothing to drink. Bitch, I was like, day one, you've already fucked up. So I'm not being dry. However, I did tweak it to say that I will not buy. I will not buy liquor. Now, if somebody else, provides me.
Fair enough.
I will indulge. But
what's your inspiration?
It's not really dry
for going dry.
Financially, I feel like buying drinks every time I went out was just really, really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I wanted to feel like not saying I needed it because I don't need it, but that I can just go out and not have to order a drink when I'm out with people. I think that's just for me is knowing that strength of if everybody else is drinking doesn't mean I have to be drinking. Or because I'm yesterday now I did go out with my friend Tiffany and I did not order a drink, nor did she buy me one, which I was pretty great about, which I'm really adamant on not ordering nothing. But no, yeah, it's just that mindset of that willpower. And it's just being really intentional with I don't always have to order a drink when I go out. Now, I will try next month, you all, to go dry. But as of now, I have Riesling and I have a Stella.
I did see you pop open that Stella Artois.
I just picked it up because Artois? Is it called Artois?
Yeah. Stella Artois.
I don't know. Girl, Here's the thing about me, y'all. I love a good drink. I don't care if it's dark, if it's light, if it's red, if it's white, if it's beer, if it is a seltzer. I am going to drink it. So, yeah.
Stella Artois is delicious. People just call it Stella. It's delicious.
I was going to say Stella Rose, but that's not it.
Oh my God. What is... Oh, fuck. I hate that shit so much. Stella Rosa.
Is it in a bottle?
I can't stand Stella Rosa. I cannot stand it.
I used to call it Rossi. No. Rossi is a different thing, right?
Rossi, I believe so. I think that's a Moscato.
That's a Moscato. It's in a jug. But yeah, that's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking?
I just got, and I actually kind of like it. It's got a little bit of a hint of sweet, which I used to really hate, but it is called high on the hog. Yes. And it's a red wine. I was just in the mood to do red tonight. Probably because I'm going to watch Girlfriends after I'm done with this.
Ma, how many times have you watched this shit?
This is probably my 8th time. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But I didn't start from the beginning this time. I started from my favorite season 3. And I'm almost done with that season. So it's all good.
All right. Granted, girl, I'm the same person that watches That's So Raven and Degrassi all over and Noah's Ark.
I will rewatch somebody's Degrassi now.
I'm on season 7 right now, which is so funny. But no, I'm glad you're in a new place. I'm glad that you're, enjoying the New Orleans, the vibes. And
I never want to leave here again.
Really?
Oh my God, girl. The last time I went home, I was just so anxious the whole time. It was like after the weekend, I was really anxious. And it kind of took me like a week to shake that off when I got back.
Why? Wait, why?
I don't know. I think, I don't know. Some part of me thinks that's just like the effect that the city has on a person.
Yeah.
But I did talk to someone else.
Yeah.
Before I expressed that I was anxious. I was like, yeah, I went home. And they were like, oh, did you feel anxious? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, that kind of happens when you find home in a new place. When you go back home, it gives you this sort of like anxiety for some reason.
That happens all the time with me when I go back to Dayton. Like every time back home, I'm just like, I get there, I'm ready to come back. As soon as I fucking land, I kid you not, like I'm already over it. I'm already like, okay, I have this amount of days to leave. I have this is like, it just, to me, I think it's also like, Ohio was where I was raised. So there is a lot of trauma still there that I like have to like get over. So like going back there, I just touch it down and I just, all of that like comes back over me. So yeah, when you leave a space that you've resided in for so long, you kind of just get over being when you're visiting. So
especially when that place caused you a lot of stress. Like we leave places for a reason. If we were satisfied with where we were, we would have stayed there. I think that's at the root of it, right? Like, I mean, I almost feel like I escaped the DMV. So going back there and feeling some type of uneasiness is easily explained, at least partially, by the fact that I wanted to get the fuck out.
Yeah. You did too, girl. You said, and it was to me, it was the most randomest thing. You was like, I'm moving to New Orleans. I was like, girl, why? You was like, it's there, some shit. I think you told me why, but to me, it was just like, so like, because.
Well, I wanted to move to the South. I don't know if I said this on the show before, so I think it is important that I explain those reasons before we move on to our Black Boy Joy Spotlight. I wanted to move to the South because of affordability. One of the biggest things that I was having trouble with in the DMV is working in nonprofit and being underpaid for the amount of work that I was doing and putting into my professional life. So that was the first thing. And the second thing is I felt like a lot of people in the DMV hated each other. I didn't feel connected to people in the way that I wanted to. I don't feel like we do a good enough job of celebrating each other in the DMV. I see people making strong efforts. People like Strawberry and like Anthony and Impulse, who do a really good job of bringing us all together. But I don't think we all take the full and necessary steps to continue that work personally.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then, I needed a reset for my mental health. And I've gotten all of those things since I've been here. So it was a really good decision to make.
Yay, I love that for you. Like, granted, to me, I was like, oh, it's random, but I knew it was with good intentions. Like, it was like, I knew you wanted to move to the South, but I didn't know how you pinpointed. But I thought it was because, your roommate also was talking about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, so he already lived here.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, work. That's amazing. But we're going to get into the show. We're going to dive into what we always do, you all, and then we're going to come back and get into the meat and potatoes. But first, we're going to get into this week's Black Boy Joy Spotlight. And this week's Black Boy Joy Spotlight goes by the name of Royal Ivy King. This individual's breakout role is specifically with Nathaniel Hardin on All-American Homecoming. That is basically a spinoff of the CW series All-American, and this one takes place predominantly at a HBCU, a fictional HBCU, and it chronicles the lives of the student and the student athletes at the school. Royal's character specifically plays one of the best friends to the main character, and is also someone that plays like a sound advice or just like a guide to the individuals. This character also is someone that is non-binary, which I really, really enjoy this character because I think I have not seen a black character in a realm like recently in the non-binary space, which I thoroughly enjoy seeing. They also use he, him, and they pronouns as well, like off camera. But just really enjoy that this character to me is starting to change the game of queer representing actors and characters. And they also have been bumped up to a series regular for season 2 of All American Homecoming. So I think you all, should definitely check out All American Homecoming. I only checked it out because of Royal Ivy King. I actually seen the individual on Instagram and then like started to do a deep dive and then realized that like, oh shit, they actually like are like in a TV show and like really, really good. And like, the character is well rounded. And it's not just their queerness as their storyline. So I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, if anybody definitely want to check out this individual's acting, definitely check out all of their, all of their roles, but definitely I think this breakout role specifically in All American Homecoming will have you all tuning in more to the series.
They're very cute. That girl is it, honey.
I'm going to interchange, but he used that his hair is the same in the show, like as
nice.
well.
Good.
So I really enjoy that they like do it up sometimes, and then also like definitely wears dresses and ball gowns, and I think they're also a PhD like and like they're getting their PhD in the show as well.
Okay.
So that is very unique to see someone that is outwardly feminine presenting, but also just like confident who they are. And so I just haven't seen a queer character like that.
You're saying the character is getting their PhD?
Yeah, they're like a PhD candidate.
That is actually like a common occurrence. Like I know a lot of very queer people who are like in PhD programs. So that wouldn't have shocked me or even like fazed me because I don't know. Academia is maybe a place that queer people find some sort of like belonging or solace in, and even if that's not the case, like they find themselves occupying that space quite often. So shout out to Royal.
Yeah, no, I always think about it because my cousin. No, I'm always thinking about like, just like the space of like academia and like our like acceptance in it, or just like our I don't know. I just always like when I see us like persevering through all that, I'm like, bitch, work. Like getting your PhD and all that shit like that, like I am here for it.
Okay.
So you all definitely should check out All American Homecoming. Definitely check out Royals information and things like that. But yeah, we're gonna move right on in to our rants. Oh, okay, y'all. So we haven't been on here in a while. And the girls love this. All right. So Beyonce, since we've not been on, has dropped Act 1 of Renaissance. All right. I know the last time we was on here, we talked about the single Break My Soul, but now y'all, we have a full album. All right. 16 songs. We're here. And this is just part 1. Beyonce has announced that it's going to be Act 2 and 3. All right. And we also got some announcements of some visuals coming. Sis, how are you feeling about the project since it's been out for a couple of weeks now?
Yeah, I had been listening to it every day. I finally decided to take a break because I was like, my brain needs to be occupied by something else. I love it. My top 5 are Plastic Off the Sofa, Virgo's Groove, Cuff It, America Has a Problem, and I don't know, between Summer Renaissance. I love the honey side of Pure Honey, but I'm going to go ahead and throw Summer Renaissance up there. Miss Honey.
Miss Honey.
Devil on my shoulder. Oh my God.
Devil on my shoulder.
Nasty is a guilty pleasure.
Oh, nasty girl. Okay, so my top songs that off of Renaissance, definitely Virgo's Groove. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yes, bitch. Second one definitely is Plastic Off the Sofa. Alien Superstar grew on me. Did not like it in the beginning. Cuff It, really, really good. And then I think Move, but like the last part of Move, I think it's like the last 30 seconds of it. I really was just like, I like it. Do you feel like this is one of Beyonce's like most experimental albums?
Absolutely. Next to I Am Sasha Fierce, I definitely think
hated
that's
it.
True. Oh, I don't like that album.
Hated that album. Y'all, Beyonce, I loved you. I loved the Sasha Fierce part, but I did not care for the I Am. No.
Same.
It's crept up to my like top 3 albums of Beyonce.
What has?
First one is Renaissance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's B-Day, of course, always. Self-titled, and then it is Renaissance. The only thing I did say was I felt like she wasn't really like, and when I hear the like isolated songs isolated, she's really singing really, really down. She's singing real down, like she's singing really good. But I was first hearing it too, I said, girl, I don't hear no texture. However,
they're busy
Virgo's
songs.
Groove, busy songs, very, very busy. When I first heard it, I was like, no. Virgo's Groove, very much enjoyed it. Plastic Off the Sofa gives me a Solange vibe. Definitely gives me Solange vibes. I don't know why.
You know, one of those songs, I forgot which one it does, it reminds me of a Justin Timberlake song. And I had seen someone's take that this was like a Justin album. Like, I forgot what it said, and so I don't really misquote it. But there's this
like the 2020 experience?
That's what it reminds me of. That's what it's reminding me of, is the 2020 experience.
Oh, my suit and tie shit.
It was, I think it was Don't Hold the Wall, though. It was something I was listening, I think it was a part of America Has a Problem that reminded me of Don't Hold the Wall. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do love it. The runs in both Plastic Off the Sofa and Virgo's Groove sustain me. They really sustain me. Those are the ones I feel like she really performed vocally for. And I hope that if act 2 or 3 are more music at all, then I really do hope that those are examples of her doing more vocal things. Cause there are a lot of songs in there that like are more fun and more dance like, and not really, they don't highlight her vocals too much. Obviously she sounds good in every song, but like I'm not getting what I'm getting from Virgo's Groove and Plastic Off the Sofa.
Yeah, it's R&B. I think that's why. Like it's not, those songs aren't busy. When you hear like Alien Superstar is very busy, but it's like it grows. I'm too when I hear it, I literally go back to the samples. I'm too sexy for your love, because I think that's like, and she used that as like a sample. But I'm too clap. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's my favorite. What is like your least favorite song on the album?
All Up in Your Mind. I hate it.
Yes, I up in your mind.
I don't even know why it's on there. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I do not care for it, and it's just people. And also, the girls weren't feeling it because it was for the girls. Did you know?
It was for who?
Were you hearing some people talk about it?
It's for
the
who?
Girls. They didn't care that it was for the girls.
It's for the girls or the women?
The girls didn't like that it was for the girls.
You're talking about the whole album?
Yes, bitch.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. I've heard a lot of people say that. I don't know. I don't understand that, because I feel like, how often is it that like a Black artist, I mean, we have Black artists who make albums that are like specifically geared to the LGBTQ community, but it's like people like Azealia Banks, and I love her music, but it's not like that's like mainstream. The complaints that people have expressed over that have been a little weird to me. Her last album wasn't that, you know, Lemonade was for women who had been scorned by their partners. I mean, was it not? It was an album about being hurt by your partner, and mostly, you know, a lot of women were able to relate, like a lot of cisgender women were able to relate to that. And I don't know, I just feel like having an issue with the whole album being gay friendly is definitely homophobic. I haven't explored that topic too much, because the last thing I want to spend my time during these like stressful days doing is like, you know, having conversations with multiple people about homophobia. I simply cannot.
Yeah. I don't care for it. I love the album. A lot of people, critics love the album. It's really amazing. I'm looking forward to Act 2 and 3. Visuals are coming. We've got a little bit of snippet of that. But yeah, Beyonce, keep doing what you do. The girls love you. I've been playing the album on constant repeat.
Okay.
So keep it going, and don't let these other bitches get into you.
Keep it going.
All right, let's get into what we always talk about, girl, is housewives. We have a lot of housewives right now. We have Atlanta. We have Beverly Hills. We have Dubai. We also, one-offs, we have Married to Medicine. How are you feeling with all these shows right now? What's your tea on it? Or is it giving you what you've wanted? Besides Married to Medicine, because I know how you feel about Married to
I'm not even going to talk
Medicine.
about Married to Medicine because you know I love
Right.
it. Like, I don't even really need to get into it.
You know, I've been watching it. I've been watching it this season.
Yeah, do you
This
like
season
it?
is it's very entertaining. I don't like Heavily, but
Yeah,
it is what it is.
most people don't, honestly.
Yeah, but with Housewives, how are you feeling about it? I also was watching the Ultimate Girls Trips as well, so I was watching all of those.
At least that was good this
how you
season.
feeling?
Ultimate Girls Trip was light this season. I liked it a lot, and I saw Phaedra in a different way that I enjoyed. Although I do feel like she and Eva, unfortunately, played a mammy role for Brandy Glanville, and I didn't appreciate how that just kind of happened. I don't know. I feel like whenever you put black women in a room with white women, that one or two things can happen. Either they kind of like socially submit, or they become the angry black woman, or they become like mammified. Like there was literally scenes where Phaedra's like rubbing Brandy's fucking head and telling her, "Baby, you can't be calling people bitches." And I was like, "Hey, you're not her like caretaker."
She was being a mother.
I'm not faulting Phaedra for that. That's just like another example of social slavery. So I'm just gonna leave that exactly where it is. But I was very pleased with that season. It was a lot more lighthearted. I completely stopped watching Dubai. I'm not interested in what they have going on. I like Lisa and I like Chanel Ayan, but I'm honestly just completely uninterested in them as a cast. I stopped watching it and I don't feel like going back. I'll watch their reunion and maybe if that's good, I'll watch the next season if there is one. I don't think there will be. And then Beverly Hills has been very entertaining. Everyone is correct. There is no plot line. The robbery was like, Dorit was trying her hardest to sustain that, but it didn't last. So now it is just them arguing all the time. It is a show about reality stars. So that's where we are. And Atlanta has been very good for me. Honestly, good season for them, if you ask me. I definitely think this is a good season for Atlanta.
just ugly. I know. I completely agree. I've been struggling through Dubai. Don't care for Caroline, the white one, at all. Oh, I don't believe her and her man are going to last. He is literally 27 and she's 72. So switch it around. That's what's going to happen. Chanel is holding it for me. She's very comedic and funny. What else? What's the other girl's name? I forgot the other girl's name. Oh, Lisa. No, Lisa. I really enjoy Lisa. She's really pretty. Her accent. Brooks, I don't care for her. She reminds me of K. Michelle. And I don't really care for that. And Atlanta to me is okay, but like I just don't care for the group this year at all.
Really?
I don't care for anybody for real. Like I just think people just need to let it go. Beverly Hills, I've actually been watching this season.
Do you like it?
Go ahead. I actually do. Me and Tiffany watch it. Me and Tiffany watch all of these together. Beverly Hills is like the most entertaining out of all of them to me. It's very entertaining. I just love seeing Erica drunk as hell. She be drunk as hell, and I love it. But yeah, no, I think it's all lackluster, and I think I'm also watching Married to Medicine. I'm very drained by how they go from 0 to 100.
It's Heavenly's fault.
Heavenly, and then Contessa. Contessa. It's just chaotic when I see them. Specifically, this most recent episode, I was just like, "Why are y'all out? It's 8:00 in the morning, and y'all are out for blood."
It's because they actually really were like close friends, and honestly, like I think that Heavenly's right that like Contessa's still mentally or emotionally dealing with the fallout of her like marriage. But instead of trying to like fix it substantially, she's more interested, it seems like, in pretending that things are significantly better. Probably because of the way she exposed her husband last season. But I also think that Heavenly is a very insensitive person and that she exploits her friends' problems for her social media, and that is an issue that needed to be checked a long time ago. But I mean, here we are. I don't see that friendship reconciling because I don't see Heavenly letting go of how good it feels to have the world
relish in it.
Yeah, she relishes in people being on her lives. Like that type of attention, she's not used to it, I guess. So she's just like, she loves it so much that she's willing to do anything to hold on to it. And I think that means that she's willing to make disparaging comments about her friends. In this, to be clear, this cast of women were friends at some point. Like they were all
they were
friends, and they've
close.
also like been able to repair their friendships before, and people who weren't able to repair those friendships left the cast. So Mariah, who I don't enjoy, Mariah Huck, who was the show's producer and creator,
executive producer, yeah,
she said at one point that Heavenly was the divisive figure in the group, and she was right about that. I have been able to admit, despite disliking how she carried herself in the group, that was something she was definitely on the mark about, and it'll be interesting to see how that continues.
Anybody would like to see come back?
No, I think everybody who left the show needed to. I would like to see Heavenly leave, and maybe someone who's both interesting, but Heavenly's issue is she goes too fucking far. It's like
she does.
She is making the show a lot darker than it needs to be. I think Quad was doing that a little bit too with Mariah. But I don't think any of these shows are as interesting when they cross the line. Nene was doing it. She was making their franchise too dark. The Portia versus Kenya thing was exhausting, so that was getting too dark. You know, there's a line, and some of these shows have been crossing it a lot lately. But I think this is what happens when a reality show has been on for too long.
Yeah, these shows have been on for too long.
It's kind of time to end some of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are still tuning in. And I mean, just tune in. Just if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. They're going to keep making the shit.
You're right. You're right.
They're going to keep making it. So just bear with it.
Contribute to learning about Black men's health across the DMV by participating in the Strengths and Stressors study at George Washington University. This study looks at how Black men cope with stressors like discrimination, unemployment, police harassment, and housing instability, and how those coping methods affect Black men's health. You will be compensated between $200 and $250 for your time while learning more about how stress affects your health. For more information, text 202-596-2743 or email strengthstudydc@gmail.com. You can also find the eligibility questionnaire in our bio and link tree.
All right, sister. So today we haven't talked in a while. This is a thing, but I think that something that we've both established is something that we would love to chat about and check in with our listeners and viewers about is this conversation of wanting it all and what that looks like in all spaces. And I know me and you've had like our off conversations about that, but I just wanted to know, like, what does wanting it all look like for you? And have you felt like you've been able to, that's actually manageable to get?
Well, I mean, I'd like to first start by thanking women for this conversation, because I've always seen it through the context of them trying to prove that they can make it in a male-dominated world while also getting all the things that make them feel fulfilled. And I think that struggle is something that we can relate to as Black gay men. I don't feel like I've ever had it all. I don't even think it really is possible, but I think that there are many ways that I've tried to make it happen. And the ways that I tend to focus on initially are like my professional and extracurricular life. I like to be super involved in my work and then also pile on acting and the podcast and like other extracurricular activities like being on boards. I mean, I've balanced literally being on the board of a multicultural association while also, you know, doing a show or the film and doing this show and then like socially Impulse. Like, it's always me trying to balance all these things because people that I really admire are often plugged in, you know, in multiple spaces. And I want to feel like I'm successful in doing that.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think that is a conversation that I know women have a conversation about a lot. Specifically, you know, they could be successful in their personal life. I mean, they could be successful in work, they could be successful financially, but then they don't have like a man, or, you know, they don't feel complete with that, or they sometimes could talk about immersing themselves into so many things to distract themselves from others. And I think that queer men specifically also do that as well. I think we focus a lot of our time into activity so that we don't have to deal with the harsh realities of who we are. Not who we are, but what society says of us as individuals.
Fair.
And I think that is a sad thing, but we do divulge into things a lot. And I know for me, I keep myself very busy to the fact that I think me and you talked this week, and I was just going through my schedule, and I was like, I literally have an activity on my like schedule every day of the week.
Yeah.
Like it was to the fact that my friend was like, you sound like a kid whose mom has created a schedule for what they need to do after school. Like, I'm going to go to kickball. I'm going to go to chess. I'm going to go to my play dates. And it's just so interesting because I never really like processed it like I wanted it all, but I processed it like I like to keep myself busy. And I think that that's the problem is I try to keep myself busy, but I'm also really, really tired because I feel like I don't have time for like any of that. Do you feel like that sometimes? Like when you feel like you want it all, you just feel like, bitch, I'm just really tired of like having to do all these things?
I don't know. I think that what I'm trying to do most of the time is like be occupied so I'm not thinking about like the lack of love life that I have. I don't know. I feel like romance is so difficult. And I find that like dating hasn't gotten any easier. And so historically, I'm just like, oh, well, I will fulfill myself with doing all these things to keep me busy so that I'm not thinking about it. And I don't have a problem with being regimented about a schedule. That's fun to me because it makes me feel super productive and in control of things.
Yeah.
And I think that you trying to do that is not a bad thing. But I do think that, like, if we're trying to delude ourselves into thinking that, like, that's going to help us get every single thing that we want, that's kind of where things go wrong.
Yeah. I think that's for me is like, so right now I'm in a space where I am in the space of dating and I am actually enjoying it. And I think what I've came into was that I'm trying to manage the relationship aspect or entertaining somebody, but then also still wanting to like maintain the life that I had before that individual coming into it has started to become a lot of like, like, okay, you want to go on this date, you want to spend time with this person, but then you also do this, you do that, you have other obligations that you have already. So it's just like, is there a real thing of like being able to like want it all? Like, okay, now I feel like I can date, but it's just like shit. Like, but I'm like the life I had before is starting to creep in and just like all of that stuff like that. And I think it's really starting to be put in perspective for me now because like I'm actually happy. I'm actually in a space where I'm like, this is nice. But then I feel like some things I'm sacrificing that space of that, which is so weird. That is so weird to me, and I'm just like.
Of course, it's realistic to want it all. You can want anything you want. But getting it all is really what's like the difference, right? Like you're just no one is going to get every single thing that they want. And even on a larger level, you do have to make sacrifices. We often have to sacrifice our personal lives for our professional ones, right? We also have to, if we're interested in maintaining healthy personal lives, there are things that we will have to sacrifice professionally or like extracurricularly. I've had to miss hanging out with my friends or going to Pride with my friends to rehearse or to perform. And I've had to say, oh, well, if I'm going to hang out with my family, I can't do this thing. I'm going to have to take off of work for this. I'm going to have to use my PTO. We do have to make sacrifices all the time to do things that we want to do. It is a constant bargaining, but that's the exact reason that we can't have it all, because if we could, we wouldn't have to make those sacrifices. Those things would go, hand in hand.
Yeah. Then do you think that like you've been able to like, do you ever feel like you've been able to like manage it all? Like you like, okay, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. My friends know this. My friends do that, because I am someone that tries to create a schedule. Like my friends know like, okay, Monday and Tuesday I'm doing volleyball. Wednesday I'm doing this for work. Thursday I'm doing the podcast. Friday I'm doing D&D. Saturday is my free time. Sunday is kickball / book club. It's just like, bitch, where do we fit in? Or do you have any wiggle room? Or do you feel like you'd be like, aha, I've gotten it?
No, that's literally it.
That's
Like,
actually my schedule.
yeah, I
That is
believe that.
actually my schedule, y'all.
I 100% believe that. No, that's exactly the case. Is like, I'm always talking about trying to figure out how to balance everything, but I never do because, I don't know. Part of it is that, like, personally, your friends have a different schedule than you have, and there are all these things that you do want to do, and like, you can't just completely disregard your schedule to hang out with your family, right? Or your friends. So we would have to be more intentional about programming those things. But honestly, a lot of people get offended when you try to pencil them into your schedule. Like, people get really offended by that action. I don't know why.
Yes.
Because I mean, like, I'm not the type of person. I want to achieve things. And if you want to achieve things, you do have to build a schedule. You just have to.
Yeah. People don't think that people are like busy for real. They're like, girl, you're that busy where I have to be penciled in. Yes.
Yes, I am.
Bitch. Yes. I tell people now, like, if I do not put you on my calendar, I do not expect to hang out with you. Like, dead ass honesty. Like, and then when my time is wasted, I am always like, bitch, I could have been doing something else. I could have been, like, so it's just very interesting because that is true. Like, I think people do get bothered by that. Like, I heard people so many times, like, you're not that busy where you got to pencil me in. Baby girl, like I told you,
I am.
Monday and Tuesday, I'm booked. Wednesday and Thursday, I'm booked. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday is the only day I don't have nothing, like, really, really scheduled. But, like, shit, I'll schedule something to do that day. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, exactly that. If I see a free space on my calendar and I'm not going to fill it with rest, I'm like, well, let me fill it with something. And I will tell people, get in while you can. Like, if you don't hit me up before somebody else does, that person or that thing is now penciled into my schedule. So I'm not waiting around.
Yes. So it is so funny. So I am like, so for example, I had a friend, this is like a quick story. I had a friend that, like, I had like a plan. I had no plans, right? I had no plans. They were like, do you have plans on Saturday? I was like, no, I don't have no plans. They was like, okay, I'll get back to you by like Wednesday or something, or Thursday. Bitch, by Thursday, I was like, oh girl, I have yoga. They were like, bitch, really? It was like, I think it was like a Tuesday. They was like, I'll get to you by Thursday. I was like, yes, like, I do have plans. And I'm not going to say I do yoga all day, but at the time that you wanted me, I'm doing that. And then after that, I'm going to go do this. But it's just like, do you sometimes feel like that can ruin relationships or people's, like, impressions of you in a space with you in that mindset of, like, wanting it all and trying to do it all in such a short amount of time sometimes?
I feel like, talking through it with you, one thing I've realized, right? I'm going to be a little more vulnerable right now, is that, like, when I'm at my loneliest, no one's like creating space, for me to express that loneliness or fulfill that loneliness. So it is because of that I fill those times with things that make me feel good or that fulfill me or that keep me busy. So no, I'm not going to then alter that schedule when you decide that you want to be around me, right? And if we were all mature, we would recognize that a person having penciled time, that's their time. That's time that they have purposefully and intentionally scheduled to do blah, blah, blah. And respecting each other's time and emotions and life is saying, hey, let's schedule this thing together. Let's be intentional about spending time together. And you can still connect with each other. But expecting a person to leave their life open for you or to, like, bend to your schedule is completely, it's unreasonable.
And I think it's also a thing to note is, like, when somebody has no time on their schedule, does not mean that you can pencil time in for that time. That probably is time for them to recharge. That is probably time for them. They already have, even though they have nothing on their schedule, they definitely are, like, probably decompressing or recharging for that. But for me, even though my Saturdays or my Sundays are times where I don't really have that much bandwidth, that's technically Sundays a lot, now Saturdays, that doesn't mean, like, oh, Dever can always be able to turn up every Saturday. Like, I definitely cannot. Some days it's just mentally exhausted. It's that day that I'm definitely like, okay, I know I've done all of this week. I need to, like, calm down. And I think also another thing is, like, like, that time is just, like, a value to people. I think time is sometimes really valuable to people. And I think that when I had an issue where I would always make myself available. I was always making myself available. If whatever, like Derwin, if he was like, Devery, what time are you available? I used to be like, anytime you're available. So then that left, my schedule too flexible or too free for me to always try to schedule my stuff around you. And I'm like, well, I want to do this, but I don't know if Derwin is going to put me, me and Derwin are going to do this. Well, I want to do this, but it's like, it's a way of creating boundaries as well, too. That could be helpful. But I knew for me, I was always trying to people please. So I was always wanting to just say I was available.
Exactly.
And I was like, then I feel like I'm waiting around for you when in reality, like, I shouldn't be doing that. Like, this is when I'm free. This is when I'm not. Is it something that we can do? Not, and I also used to do that in relationships a lot. In relationships, I would like lose sight of my friends because I would always want to spend so much time with you. But then I'm like, shit, I've lost that relationship with them because I've done that. But you was about to add to something. I didn't want to keep going.
No, you're okay. No, I was just going to say that you're right that it is boundary building. We want to spend time with people who make us feel good, but we also don't want our entire lives to revolve around someone else being there. It's really easy for us to lose sight of the ways that we make our lives purposeful for ourselves. In order to make our lives worth living, and we have to make decisions about how we spend our time. I think that there are people who haven't realized that, right? Or who are a little lost. And so they do expect your time to be more open. Or perhaps, right, they're just not interested in being busy all the time. Perhaps they're not interested in taking more than one challenge on. And that's reasonable. You don't have to do that to be anything.
Yeah.
But when you are a person who wants to be involved in so many ways, who wants to fulfill so many parts of yourself, then that's just something that becomes important. And when you're trying to balance out your personal relationship, like your romantic relationships with your personal friendships or whatever, that's even another thing. I mean, people become married and then what they tend to do is merge their social lives with their spouse because it becomes relatively impossible for you to separate those two and also get everything else that you have on your plans done. But that's just part of what being a human is. We only have 24 hours in one day and only 7 days in a week. And you do leave space open. You do look at your schedule and you say, I know for a fact that I've got these things, and so I'm leaving these other gaps open for blah, blah, blah. But if I pencil in my alone time for this time, I'm not changing that.
Yeah.
What good am I going to be if I'm exhausted?
Yeah. I think we've, being transparent, I think we ran into why the podcast, has had a break in so long was we had schedules that we were really, as not able to be as flexible as we used to be with in the past. And I think that, you are getting settled into New Orleans and, creating a schedule that is working for you. And then me as well, our schedule just weren't able to connect as much as it used to when we were, in the same space or respected, but we're growing, in life. And I think that is perfectly fine. And I think that people need to also realize, okay, if this is happening, how do we recover or how do we, communicate and, work things out? Because I think that was something that did happen with us. That was an obstacle. It was okay, we know that if we cannot shoot on Thursdays, our schedule is going to be really slim to try to put another shoot in on another day because we know that our schedules are always booked,
right? Except
for on Thursdays, unless something happens,
right?
And I think that is something that's transparent. Is we block time out for Thursdays, but if God forbid something happens where we can't, then when something takes over, it's really hard to try to pencil it into another day of the week,
right?
And I think that is something that people need to realize is it's just really hard, and it's not saying that you can't do it. It's just the energy won't be there. Good point. If we do it on
No, go ahead.
If we do it on a Sunday, I know for a fact, if we do a podcast on a Sunday, Derwin energy is going to be a restful type of vibe. It's not going to be as really yeah, let's get it. It's this is the day that you usually use to reset, and get through the week and start your week off because you're so us putting it on a Wednesday, it won't probably be as productive or engaging. Not productive. It'll always be productive, but it just won't be the vibe that you are really ready for because you mentally have already placed it on a different day. Yeah. And the same with me. I know right now, like I just wrapped up a meeting right after this, and I'm pulling all the energy I can to do it. But that was because I have, things happening or whatever. But like, I just know that about time and like, wanting it all and making sure that we still are able to do the things that we enjoy and the things that we need, and then also still have time for us. And I did that as like a really intentional and really like, I think that's a mature thing as well, is when you're able to articulate those things and really, find some form of like healthy relationship with it. It becomes very like beneficial. And I think that when you become like an adult, you start to take in that, specifically with people that have children, right? You can't just really think about yourself. You have to think about your child. So now you're trying to juggle, well, I can't go out too late because I have a child that I have to pick up from date, like all of these things. And I think it's responsibilities. I think it definitely ties back into this conversation of responsibilities, but winning it all doesn't necessarily, mean that you're sacrificing some things. It's just like, which things do you think will help you get to that goal or destination that you've internalized as your success? So I definitely want to just put that in there, because I think that as we are getting, older and getting into so many different things, our schedules are becoming more full and becoming more complex, and times maybe having to be really intentionally scheduled and things like that. So I just wanted to add that into the conversation.
I'm glad that you said that, because I think at the very root of it, it is about goal setting. Like I said earlier, that when you want to achieve things, you do have to be more regimented about your schedule. And it is about your goals, whatever your goals are. If your goals are to be more family oriented, then yes, you have to be intentional about blocking your time, your schedule out for being there for your family, spending time with your family, doing things with your family. If your goal is to, be at a certain level financially, then you do have to work a certain amount of time, or like work in certain kind of spaces to acquire the money that you want. You do have to save your money in a very specific way. And that's the thing, is like, I feel like as I've gotten older and closer to 30, I have become more goal oriented. And because I am more goal oriented, I realize that, yes, that means that I do have to be more intentional about how I spend my time. It's not my early 20s anymore. My early 20s, I didn't care about, like, I wanted to do well at work, right? But I was not worried about anybody's career. I was like not thinking about a 5-year plan. I was just like, I don't know. Like, none of this matters. I don't even want to be here. Yeah. And I mean, on some real shit. Like, I was dead ass, like, I don't even want to be here. So I was just trying to have a good time and feel good all the time. And now I'm trying to feel healthy all the time. And I'm trying to create goals that do keep me present and grounded, and do keep me motivated to continue living, because mental health has been so heavy. Like, like mental health has been such a large component of my life. And I finally figured out that if I'm going to stay healthy, then I do have to be occupied. I can't just be idle. What is it? There's a line from the Music Man. The idle brain is the devil's playground. And that's true.
Oh, hell yeah.
When you have nothing to do, you find bullshit to do, bullshit to think about, and you become self-destructive. And I'm not interested in continuing a pattern that I exhibited in the early 20s. I can't.
Yeah. It's that loneliness, right? That space of loneliness that comes from their darkest and most insecure moments are going to come. Like, granted, we all need to spend time with ourselves, spend healthy amounts of time with yourself. But when you're sulking and stuff, or you're like, looking at in a depressive loneliness, that idle mind is, like you said, devil's playground. Things are going to come into your space. And I think when you keep yourself busy in a healthy way, I want people to also remember, before we wrap up, it's like, keep yourself busy in a healthy way is different than keep yourself busy to distract yourself from reality. We need to also differentiate those two, because sometimes people keep themselves busy to not deal with the realities of life sometimes. But when you keep yourself busy with the intentions of being productive in life, that is a difference, And I just wanted to like preface that, like, girl, don't be just putting everything on your schedule, bitch. You still end up with those traumas. So, like,
because I think that doing it in a healthy way is also scheduling time to, like, or being intentional about taking the time to sit with your feelings and deal with those things. I can tell when I'm packing things on my schedule to avoid my feelings, but ultimately I will be like, all right, well, now I need to sit here and deal with this thing. And it's usually when when a project is complete, I'm like, oh, now I have to sit here and deal with this thing.
Yeah, therapy. I always schedule. Therapy is always on my schedule somewhere, somehow. Anything that's therapeutic, somewhere and somehow. But before we wrap up, what is one thing that you've had on your schedule that you've recently just added, or is something that you've just been like really like excited for?
Well, so I don't know. I feel like I have to say I have two jobs. So, I do.
Once it's got money.
Or at least she has things to do. No, I do have a little bit more money than I had last year. It's nice. I'm planning for a housewarming. So I was going to do it at the end of the month, but there are a lot of things I want. So I'm pushing it back so that I can try to be as like thorough as possible with how I want that to go. So it's low stakes, but it's really fulfilling. It's an opportunity for me to host, to gather all the resources to really turn this home into something that feels like a welcoming environment, not only for myself, but for people who come and share the space with us. And I see myself having more small get-togethers as viruses continue to grow, change, and expand.
I'm crying. I love it. Come on, girls. She's an event planner.
Okay.
For me, I've taken on another sport. People are always like, "Girl, this bitch is a fucking about to be in a triathlon." I play volleyball. I play kickball now.
Yes.
So kickball is something I've been always wanting to be a part of. The audition process, the tryouts, registration process was very intense, but I was like. But I finally made it. I had a practice last week and I have another practice this week. We have our games on Sundays. So that is exciting. Of course, I've been dating, so I've been having to put those like times to check in with that person and hang out with that person on my schedule. And then work related, I've recently have two people that I've added to my staff. So I've had to like create time in my schedule to make sure that they feel equipped and prepared and things of that nature. And then now, I know this is a lot, bitch, but like, with all the time that I put on my schedule, like, I've really set up time to check in with my mother. That is a relationship that I love and I cherish. And through therapy, we're going to talk about it in another episode, but like, my relationship with my mom, I've really wanted to like grow and put a time on. So I've definitely like cut out time in my day to like call her and intentionally tell her about who I am and not talk about my sister. Because I realized I was always calling her to talk about my sister or talk to her about my sister, but not really talk about my life. So, yeah, those are some goals and some things that I put on my schedule in this conversation of wanting it all, which we all can. We can get what we want. Don't think that you cannot ever get what you want.
You can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time.
Yes, we need to realize that you can have it all, but all of it happen at the same time is rare. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up our conversation for today. Derwin, it's amazing to always check in with you every episode. You are my sister, my good Judy, and I love you so much. But
love you too, girl.
Where can people follow you at? Where the girls can follow you?
You guys know you can follow me on Instagram at derwinking. That's DERWINKING, and on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX.
Yes, and you all can, of course, follow me on my social medias at _lordevery. That is _LORDEVERY on Instagram and Twitter. You all can also keep up with us on our platforms on Instagram and Twitter at ThatBlackBoyJoy. You all can also watch our videos from the past on That Black Boy Joy podcast on YouTube. You also can listen to us on all streaming platforms where you can check in with all of the content that we've created. Please, if you want to be a guest or simply write into the show, you can hit us up at our Gmail at thatblackboyjoypodcast@gmail.com. And please, keep the conversation going with us. Let us know how you all are feeling about what's going on in you all's lives. We want you all to be involved, and we really appreciate the conversations and content that people have been providing us with. We have a lot in store for you all, so keep checking in with us. And like we always tell our guests, please be in love. Please be so in love with who you are. Bye.